Welcome back, family, to Chicken and Rice. This is our fifth and our season finale.
Yes.
Not finale, but season finale
Yes.
of Chicken and Rice. We're going to go on pause for a little while, and we're going to explain why we're going on pause here. But we always tend to do a little bit more on the introduction side. So actually that is the end of the introduction. I am Brother Sean. As y'all know, this beautiful woman beside me is Sujuane T.
Yes.
And what we're talking about today is coping with stress. How do you cope with stress? And how do you cope and encourage others who are going through stress in their lives? That's what we're talking about today, all right? We're not coming up with a sermon today. We're just gonna talk.
Yeah.
All right? We're gonna talk about coping with stress. So actually, Sujuane T is gonna take over for a little bit about how she's been trying to cope with all of the stress here that's kind of been going on, especially this summer and really just this whole year.
Yeah. Stress is a son of a gun. It really is. It wreaks havoc on your body, your mind, just everything, your relationships. And coping with stress is something I still have not mastered. I've always just been a high stress individual. I've never been, and I think I get that from my dad. My dad is like that too. And so we're just high stress. I am a worrier, and worry, of course, causes a lot of stress, unnecessary stress. But coping with it, my way of coping with stress, sometimes it's just to be a bitch. Sometimes that is. That's not a good way to cope with it. But yeah, sometimes just being the ass to everybody else. Huh?
Tell us more.
Yeah. So one can be, I can be a little abrasive sometimes when I'm stressed out.
No, not you.
Yeah, me. I you see this little face? Yes, I can sometimes. And so yeah, that's one way. That's the bad way. Another way I would cope is, and I've figured out how I've coped is like when I'm going through the highest stress situations in my life, I've noticed as I've kind of, since the pandemic, since I've gotten still enough, I've noticed that fashion is what I've turned to, and then that would just be my recommendation to anybody dealing with stress, is not necessarily do fashion, but find something that you enjoy doing, and when you're stressed out, do that. So yeah, how do you cope with stress, Sean?
Well, normally I have a two-prong approach to dealing with stress. One is not a preferred way. Actually, one of my attacks about stress, and this is not something that I encourage, is actually not dealing with the stress at all.
Yeah.
Just kind of letting it run its course and letting it do its damage, and not very helpful. It's easy to do.
Oh yeah.
It's easy to fall in that trap and just say, you know what, I don't have the tools or the mental power to deal with this thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna kind of bury my head in the sand. We talked about that on an episode, I believe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Might have been weeks because we skipped a week. The other thing that I've been trying to do better is just try to get a little bit of energy from my friends and family.
Yeah.
To get a recharge, and I think that's important to just try to get a couple of opinions and just have some listening, caring ears from people that really love you.
Right.
You know, it, as Christians, we're taught that, in the beginning, God created creation and then the animals, and then he created the first human being, which was a male. And God said everything was good about his creation, except for the fact that there was no other human beings other than that man beside him. That's very significant. When God says that there's something that's not good, I think we should listen to that. So he answered that by creating another human being, of course, a woman. So there's just a lot of these trials that we're not going to be able to face on our own.
Right.
Yeah. Two is better than one, and a 3-4 strand is not easily broken. So we got to lean on our try to borrow just a little bit of power from families and friends.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
Right.
And if we don't trust them to borrow some power, some energy from, then why are they our friends?
Yeah.
Why do they have the access that they do?
Yeah.
If we can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Stress, it's man, I've had a lot of stress, and I think this particular episode is right on time because this I'm in a season or in a part of the year that I'm embarking on a lot of firsts and first anniversaries. Tomorrow, or at the time that this airs, it will be the first the 1-year anniversary of my dad finding my grandmother unresponsive. So that's been a lot. So I had my therapy session, and that it took a lot out of me. And I'm also finding that when I'm super stressed to the max, I go to sleep. That's the way that I cope with it. So that's that. And then, not soon, about, September 5th, it will be the 1-year anniversary since my grandmother has transitioned into heaven. So these are high stress times. They're just really, really high stress and high emotional times. And I'm a pretty emotional person. And because I'm an emotional person, I tend to get stressed out very easily. So, but I guess another way that I do cope with stress is actually getting into therapy, because my therapy sessions definitely help. They definitely help. And that's one of the things that, believe it or not, that therapy can help with is they can help you learn how to cope with stress. It's not just for when you have something going on or somebody's passed or you have, something tragic happen. You can go to therapy. Just a therapist can just help you get your life on track, can help you, get your stuff together. And that's what we've been working on now, is how to help me cope with stress. And so that's what's going on with me. Just learning how to cope with stress and my emotions at the same time.
And Sujuane, when did you start officially seeing a therapist?
It's almost been a year. It was October of last year, October of 2020. And so, yeah, I've been in therapy for a year.
So even when you were in the midst of you receiving your therapy, February 2021 comes around, and then we lose Uncle Henry, your grandfather.
Right.
Okay. So while you were, getting therapy, dealing with that, then, then right around the corner, as life often does, here comes something else.
Yeah.
So how was attending therapy during that time when, you were experiencing yet another death? Did it make you want to quit therapy? Did it make you think that therapy wasn't working? It was the wrong way to go?
No. I think I was already in the thick of my grief from my grandmother, because my granddad, he only passed like 5 months, almost 5 months exactly after my grandmother had passed. And so I think I was already still in the thick of that grief, that it just, and honestly, I think that at the time that my granddad passed, I was just kind of emotionally numb.
Mm,
It had been, it was just like one after the other, after the other, after the other. It was
yeah,
like, man, it's just at that point, your heart, I think your heart can only take so much and your body can only take so much. And I think after a while, you just kind of go on autopilot. And I think that's kind of what I
yeah.
did. I went on autopilot. I had an uncle, then another uncle, then my grandmother, and then now my grandfather. It's like, I just was just like, it is what it is. But she she helped me to know what to do with my emotions, and know how to deal with my emotions in a healthy way. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of anger behind that. A ton of anger, ton of anger. And she was helping me to know where to place that anger and how to deal with that anger in a positive way and not be, self-destructive
Mhm.
with my anger.
Don't give us, what I'm saying, everything, but what were the best, maybe the top three things she told you to do with that anger? To
Uh,
deal.
Journaling was one.
Okay.
Journaling definitely was one. I'm not very good with journaling. I'm good with writing stuff down, but for me, journaling it's hard. Journaling is it's a great way to get your emotions out, especially if you don't have anybody to talk to about them or you're not comfortable with talking to people about them. But on the flip side, journaling for me is hard because it makes you emotionally raw, and it forces those emotions to come out. And so, that's something that can be kind of difficult because it's like, well, I don't know if I want to necessarily deal with these emotions. And then when they come up and out, it's like, what do I do with them now that they're out on paper? But it does help. I say all that to say it does help, but you just have to make sure that you're in a place. And sometimes when you're journaling, I don't recommend journaling depending on what kind of place you're in with your emotions or your feelings or your stress or whatever. I don't recommend doing that without like a trusted individual to talk to, whether it's your spouse, your best friend, a therapist, because sometimes when you're journaling and stuff comes up, you need somebody to help you be able to place those emotions and those feelings in the correct
Hmm.
compartments.
Okay.
So that was one of them. And then another thing she told me was talking to somebody that not just her, but just being vulnerable with somebody that you love. For me, it's my husband. Because I've had a hard time being vulnerable with anybody. I'm just some of the stuff I've gone through in my life, my childhood, has made it very difficult for me to trust and be vulnerable with people. And so that was another thing she said, was just somebody that you trust. And she's like, you're blessed to have a spouse that loves you and cares about you. So be vulnerable with him. And so that was another thing that she said. So whoever it is, just find somebody to talk to that you trust. And then the third thing, top three, was um, finding something that you enjoy doing and doing that when you get stressed or whatever. So, like for my example, my husband is working out. He loves to work out. I know when his mom passed away, that was what he did. He just poured himself into running. He would just run, and for the moments that he was running, it was like everything he felt free of stress, free of emotion. It was just him and and the world, the outdoors. And so it's just so those are the top three things. But just the third thing, just find something that you enjoyed, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It can be something as simple. For me, sometimes as simple as coloring. Like that's something I never grew out of, was coloring and coloring books. So
Yeah.
it can be something as simple as that. But just find
Yeah.
something and all you're doing basically is just changing your mind from thinking
Yeah.
about this to thinking about something else. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your escape is coloring books. Mine is comic books.
No.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I like the idea of journaling because One of the things that, so I've been telling people in journal is write down these emotions when you're going through this low point. And then when you come out of that storm, go back and read what you wrote just a few months, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to get an understanding that you can indeed overcome.
Yeah.
And victory is not impossible.
Right.
It is out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
And if you continue to push, you continue to make tweaks to life,
Mm-hmm.
and you will eventually get there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you will eventually get there. Um, how is it also dealing with stress? Of course, is different between the cultures and gender wise.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Men and women deal with stress in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about Brandon and how he dealt with his stress with working out and running.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of women turning to working out when it comes to dealing with their stress. You got any input on that?
No, I don't either. I don't know why that is. And it's not that women don't work out. It's or maybe it
Yeah,
is maybe they do, but out of my friends, I don't have any female friends that go work out when they get stressed. I only have my husband, of course, and then males that I know to do that. But I don't know. I think women, we're emotional beings. And I think that for us, a lot of times stress just kind of makes us want to get still, because I know when I get super stressed, I don't want to do anything, I
yeah,
want to be left alone sometimes and just, we just kind of, I think that's with women. When we get real super stressed out, a lot of times with women, we just want to sit down and relax. So I know a lot of my friends, when they get super stressed out and they want to relax and just kind of de-stress, they'll like a bubble bath, stuff like that. They'll light some candles, sit in the bathtub, soak, maybe drink a glass of wine, or those are the types of things I think that women just are kind of wired to do. I think men, y'all are more physical beings, I'm assuming, but so maybe that has something to do with it. But with you, what do you do? Are you a person that, as a male, like, are you somebody that likes to get physical? Well, not that sense, not get physical like that, but sometimes that is a way that some men cope with stress too. They like to, get it in, but is that?
I mean, I didn't think we was talking about that kind of stuff on this, but no, I think for me, I think what I like to do when I'm stressed,
Mm-hmm.
um, I need a victory, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I'm doing a lot of stuff, with the kind of content that I'm reading,
Yeah.
watching sports. If I feel like a loser, I need a victor.
Gotcha.
Okay,
I like
so
that. Yeah. I
so
like that. Yeah.
well, you know what I'm saying? I'm watching my team, and I think a lot of women don't understand, if he's stressed out, why isn't he reaching out to me? Why does he want to watch sports after sports after sports?
Yeah.
It's I you know what I'm saying? I need to win some kind of way.
Gotcha.
And then sometimes, it happens a lot where all of your teams lose and
Mm-hmm.
you don't
Yeah.
get that victory
Yeah.
for the day, and you just kind of, you kind of get up from your easy chair and it's kind of like, well, but it just wasn't meant to be today. It's
Yeah.
kind of the feeling that I think a lot of men might resort to. Is today it's just not my day. Let's see what tomorrow does.
I have another question. So you talked about how the different sexes deal with stress, but I want to talk a little bit about race. So how do you deal with stress as a Black man? Because because as a Black woman, I think just as people of color, we have the weight of the world already on our shoulders, just as being Black people. So as a Black man, how do you deal with the stress of that? Just the fear, the stress of just something as simple as just driving to work or driving home from work and a cop gets behind. How do you deal with the stress of being a Black man in this country?
Well, I don't think the answers change as far as the positive side. I think the answers remain the same, whether it's journaling, phone a friend, as they used to say on Who Used to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
You know, or releasing that energy by making a post on Facebook. What you're going through, that can, what I'm saying, but that can also fall into the negative space there. You have to be very careful. Social media platforms are really cracking down on those kinds of expressions. But as a race, I think we need to apply the same principles. Come together. Don't separate from your brothers. Draw energy from your brothers. And I think that you can gain an insight that you would not have seen before. And then in the case of, being tailed or the appearance of being followed by law enforcement can be something unsettling. Right. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just one of those things. You just have to you just have to talk it out, and you know that you're going to talk to a brother that understands.
Yeah.
And and then you continue to do what's right, and you get home and you just breathe a sigh of relief. Thank God I made it home today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. That's just what we need to do. Try to keep it positive. We got to do a better job of taking care of and looking out for one another.
Yeah. I think as a Black woman, the way I deal with those stresses, it's a little different than I deal with the stresses of just like life stress. I think when I'm dealing with something that's racially charged, for me, the biggest release of stress, or the way I release stress with that, is just talking to another Black woman. Talking to some of my Black friends, because they understand where I'm coming from. Talking to your Black male, but it's like, I think talking to the same sex in your race, me talking to another Black woman, or maybe a man talking to another Black man, because we understand. A lot doesn't have to be said for her to understand and be able to relate to me, because 10 times out of 9, she knows what I'm talking about. She knows what I've gone through.
Right.
So that's the way that I deal with the stress when it comes to racially charged issues.
And you can also go over to the other side. Black men can relate to Black women, and vice versa.
Oh yeah.
For other issues.
Yeah.
So don't, you know what I'm saying? So
no, I'm not saying don't, but I'm just saying for me personally. Right. If I'm dealing with something, it makes me feel better to talk to another Black woman about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't forget your brothers and sisters. Very quickly, let's talk about how do we encourage others. How do we encourage others to cope with stress healthy, and give them a good healthy pickup without referring to these cliche lines that we always fall back on.
Get it out. That's my thing. That's what it is. Because I was watching this little boy. I can't even remember his name. I have to find it on Instagram. But he related related stress to a sneeze. And so he's talking about how when you sneeze, basically a sneeze is you getting rid of the germs that are, you know, inside of you or whatever. So you sneeze because your body's getting rid of the germs. And so he says when you hold in a sneeze, those germs stay inside your body and can, you know, cause you to get sick. And so he kind of related it to stress. Stress is the same way. If you don't release your stress, you don't release whatever it is you're feeling, you keep it bottled up, it does the same thing that happens when you hold in a sneeze. It wreaks havoc on your body. And so the best way I can help others to cope with stress is to tell you to get it out. You know, whether it's journaling, whether it's crying. Black people, it's okay to cry. I cried this morning in my therapy session. Crying is free therapy. It's liquid therapy. And is absolutely free. It don't cost you a thing. But release your emotions. That is the best way I know to cope. And I know as a culture, we don't like to be emotional. We don't like to show our emotion. The only emotion I feel a lot of times we're comfortable expressing is anger. And so, but we need to make sure to get it out. You know, that's the best way I can help somebody cope is either encouraging them to get it out or being a listening ear for them to getting it out. What about
you? Listening is a skill that has to be acquired. I think our problem isn't hearing, our problem is listening, and listening without don't be so quick to respond with one of these lines that you grab from the, you know, saying Saturday morning cartoons back in the 80s. Just learn how to listen, because unfortunately you're not going to be able to identify with everything that your friend is going through, but concentrate on being a calming presence. Don't add to their stress because you're not listening, or you're saying something that's completely silly and irrelevant, or just dropping another line. Be honest. Be vulnerable yourself and be like, you know, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't relate with you at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that you you know, that you feel free about opening up to us, and you know, both people get better by doing that. And I think if we do that and just continue to help each other along the way, I think we're gonna be just fine. The one if we do that.
That's something that I like that you said. A lot of times people listen to respond.
Yes.
You know, don't listen to respond, because you're not really listening. You know, you're just waiting. It's like jump rope when you plan to jump in, when they're doing the double dutch stuff. It's like you're just waiting for your opportunity to say something. Doing
Here
that.
I go.
It's like, okay, it's my turn to talk now. So let me, don't do that. Really be present when somebody's talking to you. It takes a lot for people to be vulnerable and open up. So be 100% present. And take yourself. It's not about you in that moment. Just make it about them.
Be in the room. Okay. Be in the room. And sometimes with me, sometimes I don't want you to talk to me. Sometimes I just want you to sit there and be quiet.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just be a presence right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's all I got for y'all, fam, today. That is all I got. Very quickly here, I'm gonna let Sujuane here kind of give you. First of all, I want Sujuane to tell you about her upcoming projects and what she's about to do here. And then after that, I will close this season out in some kind of fashion.
All right. So we're gonna take a little mini break. I am moving to New York for 3 months. For fashion school. It is kind of I guess about a 3-year program, kind of sort of three, maybe a year and a half, but it's spread over 3 years. But yeah, I'm moving to New York in 3 weeks after. Yeah, 3 weeks. Like time has flown by. And that's what I'm working on. I'm working on creating my own clothing collection. So I am very excited about that. I'm nervous. I'm trying not to be stressed about it because this is something that I've wanted to do for my entire life, and it kind of took me a roundabout way to get here, but I'm here nonetheless, and I am ready to receive whatever God has in store for me in New York. I'm ready. So that's why we'll be taking a little mini break. But yeah, it's just it'll be a very short break, just long enough for me to get settled, and then we'll be back here on your screens. So yeah.
All right. And also tell them about your little Instagram shows that you're gonna be putting out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been doing, yeah.
Look, this is the season. Don't leave nothing out now. We coming out with everything now. Come on.
I am, as part of that, I got my fashion styling certification at the end of 2018. So it's time for me to put it to use. And in doing so, I have started like a little mini series on my Instagram account. I'll detail all of my social media or where you can find it. But yeah, I have like a little mini fashion series where I'm helping men and women both create timeless wardrobes to where you know how to feel comfortable and feel and look good in your clothes. So yeah, that's something I've been working on. I released my first episode today, actually. So every Wednesday, I'm releasing a new episode from my little mini series. But yeah, so I'm doing a lot more fashion stuff here lately. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
All right. We are 100% behind Sujuane here, and we are 100% proud of Sujuane taking this bold step.
Yeah.
And we believe that this is going to be successful for Sujuane. Y'all just continue to pray for her, pray for Brandon, and as they go through this just another transition.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited. I've been wanting Sujuane to tell y'all that since week 1.
Yeah.
That's I mean that and that was the reason why I had presented her with that gift card at the time to kind of help out with things of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and just want to appreciate the family for really for really showing up and all the if you've dropped a comment, if you've come by the website or the social media sites, if you've supported, if you following, to all of the followers, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, and we love you. Okay. When we come back, we're going to start introducing you guys to other members of our family. We've already got one cousin who said that he will absolutely be a guest on an episode when we come back. So we are praying that that in fact happens, and we're going to continue to reach out to other family members. And then finally, last but not least, I just cannot tell you how much I love and appreciate my sister Sujuane.
Oh, absolutely. Likewise. Yes. I could not think of doing this with anybody but my cousin. So yeah, I am so glad that we did this, and I want this to go far, 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 far into the future. Yeah. So yeah. When we met in February, that connection was completely organic. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It has been an enjoyable ride ever since.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
she came up to me with a podcast, and she said, we're doing this. We're
Absolutely.
doing
Yeah.
this. She was, you are doing this. She,
Yeah.
she's talking about me.
Yeah.
She was convinced that this was something that I could do.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I just wanted to just tell you how much I love you, and I thank you for making me do this.
Oh, absolutely. And the feeling is very mutual. But yeah.
So family, friends, I love you guys.
Mhm.
Chicken and rice. This is a so long. This is not goodbye.
Yep. See you
And get
later.
and get ready for season 2. We're going to get back to more of our family themed research and discovery.
Yeah.
We just felt like these last 2 weeks we just needed to talk about these discussions.
Absolutely.
But stay tuned, because we're not going anywhere.
No, sir.
Uh, leave your likes, leave or your dislikes respectfully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Just follow us on all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just follow us all on social
follow,
media and everything. And yeah, we'll be back
visit.
season
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
Follow the website, and hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the like and subscribe button. Get those notifications. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Family, I love y'all. Chicken and rice is for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken and rice is for y'all. But family and friends, this over there is Sujuane T.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Brother Sean. We both love y'all.
Yep.
And we
See you in
out.
season 2. Peace
See you
out.
in season 2.